Hey there, folks! If you enjoy exploring the mysteries of the past as much as I do, don't forget to follow our channel. That way, you won't miss this video or any of our future adventures. And if you want to support us, just hit subscribe, give us a like, and drop a comment below. Every bit helps us keep bringing you more fascinating stories. Archaeologists open untouched Egyptian tomb. Experts are stunned. You know, the past hides a lot of secrets, and we're here to uncover them. Stick with us for some jaw-dropping discoveries. I've always been fascinated by stories of people digging deep and stumbling upon something completely unexpected. So I started looking into a few real-life cases, and what I found was unbelievable. From ancient structures buried beneath modern cities to mysterious objects that defy explanation, history is packed with discoveries that have shocked experts. But some finds go even further. They're so strange and mysterious, they make you wonder if we were ever meant to find them in the first place. The accidental cave discovery, France, 1940. In 1940, a group of French teenagers were out looking for their lost dog, which had vanished into a hole in the ground. Instead of just finding their pet, they uncovered a hidden cave full of prehistoric cave art that had been untouched for over 17,000 years. These kids weren't archaeologists. They weren't even looking for anything special. They just wanted to rescue their dog. But near the town of Montignac, they found a labyrinth of tunnels with walls covered in stunning paintings of ancient animals, horses, bulls, deer, and even woolly rhinos. These animals had gone extinct thousands of years ago, yet the artwork showed an unexpected level of detail and artistic skill for Stone Age humans. The site was initially studied by experts and visited by thousands, but by the 1950s, moisture and bacteria from so many visitors began damaging the art. By 1963, it got so bad that the French government had to close the cave to protect it. Today, the original cave is still sealed off, but replica caves, Lascaux 2 and 4, let people safely see the prehistoric art. It's crazy to think it all started with a few kids chasing after their dog, and ended with one of the most important archaeological finds in history. Drilling into the unknown, Russia's deepest hole. Let's jump to the Cold War era from the 1970s to 1994. While the United States and the Soviet Union were racing to conquer space, the Soviets decided to dig, literally. They launched a project in 1970 to drill as deep as possible into the Earth's crust. For 24 years they kept drilling in a remote part of Russia. By 1994 they had reached a record-breaking depth of 12,262 meters, about 7.6 miles. To put that in perspective, if you flip Mount Everest upside down into this hole, the mountain still wouldn't reach the bottom. But the most surprising thing wasn't just the depth, it was what they found. First, they discovered microscopic plant fossils in rock layers where no one thought life could exist. Then they found water, deep underground, far beyond where any water should be. And then came the heat. While rising temperatures were expected, they were shocked to find it reached 180 degrees Celsius, 356 degrees Fahrenheit, at just 12 kilometers deep, which was far hotter than anticipated. Eventually the heat made it impossible to drill further. Today the site is abandoned. All that's left is a rusted metal cap in the middle of the Russian wilderness. But what they found, tiny fossils, mysterious water and extreme heat, proves we still know very little about what lies beneath our feet. One of the oldest and most mysterious shipwrecks ever found lies off the southwest coast of Turkey. Believed to be around 3,300 years old, the Uluburun shipwreck was actually discovered in 1982 by sponge divers, sparking one of the most important underwater excavations in history. Among the treasures recovered were copper ingots, pottery, and even remnants of grapes and figs, offering a real window into ancient trade routes during the Bronze Age. Some evidence suggests the ship came from Cyprus, while others think it had Canaanite origins. Dating the wreck was tough due to a lack of wood, but archaeologists used one key artifact, a golden scarab engraved with the name of Egyptian Queen Nefertiti. By 2022, more analysis revealed the ship was carrying far too much bronze for a single buyer, pointing to a vast, complex trade network across the Mediterranean. Even more intriguing, at least 10 of the ingots came from a remote mine in what is now Israel, adding another layer of mystery. In 2017, construction workers in Philadelphia were digging the foundation for a new building when they hit something, well, unexpected. At first it looked like just a few random bones, but as they dug deeper, they uncovered 38 coffins, just 6 feet under what used to be a parking lot. Archaeologists were called in and determined the site was a forgotten cemetery from the early 1700s. It turns out the graves belonged to the First Baptist Church burial ground, which was supposedly relocated in the 1800s, but somehow these bodies were left behind and completely forgotten for over a century. Now, researchers are racing against time to preserve the fragile remains and learn more about how people lived during colonial Philadelphia's harsh early days. At the southern tip of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula sits a strange, abandoned outdoor cinema known as End of the World Cinema. Built in the late 1990s by a French businessman named Della, the idea was to screen films right in the middle of the desert. An epic dream, honestly. Hundreds of wooden seats were arranged under the open sky, and everything was ready for opening night. But then the power went out. Some say it was just a technical glitch. Others claim local authorities didn't like the idea and sabotaged the generator. Either way, no movie ever played, and the whole cinema was left to decay in the desert winds and sand. Today, the haunting site remains eerily silent, a surreal reminder of a dream that never came true. So, a team of British and Egyptian archaeologists recently discovered a hidden tomb in a rarely explored area called Valley C, which is about 2.5 kilometers from the famous Valley of the Kings in Lascaux. The tomb, labelled C4, belonged to Pharaoh Thutmos II of the 18th dynasty. He ruled only briefly before being succeeded by his powerful wife, Queen Hatshepsut. You know, this discovery has been called one of the most important in recent years, not just because it adds to our knowledge of royal burials, but because it sheds light on how tomb designs evolved over time. The tomb was in terrible shape, mostly collapsed and badly damaged by flooding shortly after Thutmos was buried. That flood washed away many burial goods and destroyed much of the structure. Still, archaeologists recovered fragments of ancient furniture, ritual items, and even pieces of the Book of the Dead, which was a sacred guide for pharaohs entering the afterlife. But here's one major mystery. There were no grand treasures in the tomb. Experts think the most valuable items were removed by priests after the flood, maybe to hide them from tomb robbers, possibly in a still unknown location. Now, interestingly, Thutmos II's mummy had already been discovered back in 1881, hidden in a secret cache at Deir el-Bahari, with mummies of other great pharaohs like Ramses II and Thutmos III. The fact that his body was moved there suggests his original tomb was seen as recoverable. And now, new digs at Tomb C4 might just reveal even more about the fate of those missing treasures. In 2018, archaeologists made a once-in-a-lifetime discovery deep in Kazakhstan's remote Tarbagatay Mountains. They found a burial mound filled with more than 3,000 gold artifacts and gemstones belonging to the Saka royal family who ruled nearly 2,800 years ago. The site was so remote that it had stayed untouched for centuries, protected from looters by the rugged terrain. Among the artifacts were golden plates, necklaces, chains, and intricately decorated bells. But the most impressive finds were tiny gold beads once sewn into royal garments, so finely crafted that even modern technology struggles to replicate them today. This discovery completely changed how historians view the Saka, once thought to be just a nomadic tribe. The craftsmanship revealed a level of sophistication no one expected. You may have heard about this one recently. In January 2023, a striking green sarcophagus was returned to Egypt after a major repatriation effort. This unique coffin, painted with a green face, was made for a priest over 2,300 years ago during the late Ptolemaic era. It had been looted illegally from a tomb in Abydos and passed through collectors in Germany before ending up in Houston's Museum of Natural Science in 2013. There's no evidence the museum knew it was stolen. The sarcophagus, valued at around $1 million, is now safely back in Egypt. In southern Egypt lies a vast underground temple that's unlike anything else. Built to house the remains of the sacred Apis bulls, animals worshipped as gods in ancient Egypt, this complex was discovered in the 1800s by French Egyptologist Auguste Mariette. Over the years, archaeologists uncovered a massive network of underground tunnels and chambers stretching hundreds of meters, built with mind-blowing precision. But some researchers believe this temple was more than just a burial place. Each sarcophagus, carved from a single block of granite, weighs up to 70 tons, and is so precisely made that it rivals modern machines. Some theorists even suggest this could have been part of an ancient energy system or served some unknown scientific purpose. The question is, how did the ancient Egyptians carve and move such massive granite blocks using only copper tools? Even the lighting is a mystery. There are no signs of torches or smoke damage underground. So how did they work in complete darkness? Mainstream archaeologists say the precision came from generations of skilled labor and advanced knowledge, not lost technology. But with each new discovery, the mystery grows. Finally, at the end of the video, we want to add a closing message, thanking you for listening and encouraging you to follow the channel and watch future videos. Subscribe